Hey, women warriors of the word. Welcome back to today's 5 Minutes of Faith. I'm Niki 1K, and pouring and asking God, what's the importance of today? What's the 5 minutes for today, Lord? And he's been silent for a few days actually. And he's been walking me through a process. And I love the fact that God loves us way too much to leave us where we are. And the process of faith grows. It builds upon itself like a Lego tower that cannot be blown over. See, our faith has to be given away. We have to choose to tear down what we have built in faith. And we have to choose, just like a Lego tower, to build into our faith. And what the interesting thing God has been showing me the last few days is building faith is a multi-step process. It begins with what we believe. But if we believe it, then we will speak it. So what are we saying? What have I been saying? And if we say it, then our actions should back it up. Otherwise, we're just a hypocrite to ourselves and possibly to others and definitely to the Lord. So what do you believe, daughter of the King? What do you speak, precious one of the Lord? And what do you do, faith walker? Those three pillars feed into what will become our reality. If we are speaking death over ourselves, death will come. And it may not always be, rarely in fact, is it a physical death. But a spiritual death occurs. And a spiritual death occurs often like some physical deaths over time. If we aren't believing in faith, then we aren't speaking in faith, and we aren't doing anything in faith. But if we are believing faith, and we are speaking faith, and we are doing faith, then faith is going to be what is evident in our life. Faith is not the substance of things seen, but the hope of things to come. So God, I don't have the answer, but I know you do. So I'm going to walk out in faith, trusting that you are going to open doors. And what that looks like for every circumstance is different. We cannot look on an old faith step and replicate it. What we can replicate is our faith speech. We can replicate and re-speak what we believe in our heart over every circumstance. But what we do for each circumstance is most likely going to be different, because God does not do the same miracle the same way twice. Otherwise, we could predict and it wouldn't remain faith. Now, is there a wrong faith step? The answer is no. A step in faith is a step in faith because God sees our heart, and our heart stepped out in faith. And so in faith, I did this responsible next thing. God is then responsible to produce the results. Now, just because we took a step of faith and it led to a closed door does not mean what we chose to do was wrong, because faith is never wrong. God sees our heart. God sees our intention. God sees that we are trusting him with what we don't understand, what we cannot see, and what seems impossible. But what we have a choice in is not to be lazy, to lean back and say, I'm just going to wait on God. We wait on God while we act in faith. And after the act of faith is complete, then we wait on God. But we cannot simply know of a circumstance, situation, problem, and do nothing. We must act. That faith comes from what we believe, from what we speak, and what we speak, we will do. So speak the faith in which you believe, because our God is able. Until next time, daughters, walk in faith.